Well, hey, entrepreneurs. What if success wasn't about doing more, but about building systems that actually support your business and your life? Well, in this week's Entrepreneurs Who Work From Home interview, I'm sitting down with Mona Weathers, who is an entrepreneur and systems strategist who helps online business owners and community-led creators scale sustainably without burning out. If you are into systems, you are going to love this interview. I'm Gail Bates, and welcome to Entrepreneurs Who Work From Home, because this is where I'm talking with so many entrepreneurs from around the world about what it really takes to build a sustainable business from home. You know, we explore productivity, a work-life balance, and all those practical strategies that work in real life, not just on paper. So you're going to hear wisdom from people who are just truly walking the walk of entrepreneurship. And I'd love it if you did hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Well, I just loved learning about Mona's journey because she is so refreshing with everything that she's sharing. She is so open and refreshing. Now, Mona's the founder of a Skool community called Next Level Creator Hub, where she teaches entrepreneurs how to build repeatable systems for traffic, community, and income. Think about that, traffic, community, and income. So we begin the conversation with her unique life story because Mona spent 22 years living on a farm as a homesteader. And she shares how that lifestyle has shaped the way she designs her work days. And she talks a lot about how she protects her energy, the way she's designing these work days. But what I love about Mona is that she truly is the queen of repeatable systems. In this interview, she kind of breaks down how growth isn't a mystery. It's a system, right? I love that. And once you build it, all you do is repeat it. So simple. In fact, she even shares how she has a homesteading funnel that she started quite a long time ago that still brings in leads today without her even touching it anymore. So listen to how that works for her. Now, in her Skool community, she focuses on 3 core systems: a traffic system, a community system, and an income system. Does that appeal to you? Well, as Mona says, consistency is part of the system. So if you're building a business from home and craving the clarity, the focus, and the sustainable growth that we all talk about, this conversation will meet you exactly where you are. Thank you so much for being on my series, Entrepreneurs Who Work From Home.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Well, I've been excited to talk to you, and I'd love to kick it all off with talking a little bit about what's a typical day look like for Mona, okay?
Okay.
Prioritize your time. I know you're very busy, but
yeah.
How you structure your day. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So my story is a little unique because I actually live on a farm. I've been homesteading for over 22 years or so with my husband, and we started in California, and now we're in North Georgia. So I actually have farm chores to do every morning. But my typical day, I've structured it so I don't have to do farm chores super early in the morning unless we have like the ice in the really freezing. I make sure the horses get water early because it freezes over. But normally my day I've structured my life to have slow mornings. So it's really important for me to have slow mornings. So I don't rush out of bed. I go and have coffee, and I sit and watch YouTube videos usually during the week. And then I go do my chores. I have to get dressed for the outside chores. So I get dressed for the outside chores, and we have horses and chickens and a little bunny. So I make sure they're all fed and taken care of. Then I come back and eat breakfast, and then I'll start doing work usually. That's how my day works.
Wow. And how cold is it?
Right now, it's not too bad. It's going to be in the 50s. It's been cold the last few days, though. It's been in the teens. We had this, much of this side of the country had a big winter storm come through.
Right.
Yeah.
That was, I was interested in that. Yeah, because going out early to feed the
Hmm.
animals, and it's
Yeah.
cold. That's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But in the winter, we have to make sure they have water. Otherwise, everybody gets sick if they don't have water. So I have to break the water. So I go out early to break
right,
their water.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And then what about your workspace? How do you work? As entrepreneurs, we have to have the right workspace set up, right? How does
Yeah.
it work for you?
Okay. So as a solopreneur, like I'm doing this mostly on my own. And in the past, I tried to fit into other people's what that was supposed to look like for other people, like get up at 5 in the morning, do all the things I'm supposed to do, the list of things, be super productive in the morning. But that just didn't never felt right with me. And so part of my, being an introvert as well, part of that, I protect my energy a lot. Like I want to protect my energy. So I make sure that I'm doing things that align with that. So my workspace, well, is not great. This is mostly where I work right here. I do like having a place where it's easy to, put my webcam on. So this is my desk area right here.
Yeah,
But so I have two different types of work modes. So
right.
this would be the computer sitting at the desk mode. And then I have another mode where I enjoy, it's like I don't have to be on camera. I can just sit in front of the TV and watch while I'm working. That's a mode I really enjoy. So I make sure that I have that sort of thing going on because that's what makes as a solopreneur who wants their own business to feel good, that's what
Yep,
makes it sustainable so I can keep doing it. So this mode is it's not like it's not my favorite. It's usually where I get more work done, where I'm
right.
sitting at my desk. But my second mode is the most enjoyable. So
That's
those are my,
fantastic. Yeah, I love
yeah.
the way you put that, this mode and that mode.
Hmm.
And I think that's really important for entrepreneurs to understand that, you don't have to be in one place. We can
Hmm.
set up our office space where it really works for us.
Exactly.
One of the advantages of being an entrepreneur,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Now, you have a very robust community on Skool, which I love.
Thank you.
And you talk a lot about repeatable systems, and I think
Hmm.
that's part of your forte. So tell us a little bit about how that works in your life as an entrepreneur.
Okay. Yeah, so I have to go back a little bit because I've been a solopreneur, entrepreneur for a long time. I've been on online space for a long time, but when I started, I had young children, and I always felt like I was just not getting enough done, or not knowing when to stop, and that sort of thing. So this has been a journey for me to get to the point where I'm at right now. I the systems I actually realized when I came to Skool that that's what made me unique from a lot of other people. And I didn't realize it because I started my Skool community. It's called Next Level Creator Hub. I started it as a YouTube growth community
Hmm.
because I was moving away from the homesteading space because I actually have a pretty big following in the homesteading space. I decided it was time to make homesteading my lifestyle again and not my income source. So I
Hmm.
just kind of decided I was going to make a big pivot. And the big pivot was to start teaching YouTube because I know how to make things grow. I know how to make gardens grow, children grow, and YouTube channels grow. Like doesn't growth is not a mystery. It's a system. You just have to
Yeah.
repeat it. So I thought, well, I had another YouTube channel as well, for homesteading, and it was growing. And my podcast, I have a podcast that's still living out there. People are still getting on my email list from that funnel that I have over there, but I'm not touching it anymore. And that's a system that I realized I created. It's a funnel, essentially, that one's a funnel, but like I created something that I don't have to put my hands on anymore. And of course it would grow better if I had my hands on it. But the fact that I got to that point was really important to me. And when I started to teach YouTube's growth strategy, I realized a lot of people were missing that repeatable system that they didn't have to put their hands on all the time when they're growing their community or whatever they were trying to grow. So I was like, well, maybe I should be teaching this instead because this is where I feel like I can help people even more,
Yeah.
especially the people who are doing this all on their own and they don't know how to make get to the point where it they don't have to like put so much energy out to get a return back.
Right, right. Yeah. It's fascinating because I really, I think that's part and parcel of being an entrepreneur is setting up those repeatable systems
Hmm.
so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we do something, and
Hmm.
having somebody to show you the way, which is what
Hmm.
you're doing, which we'll be putting the information about your Skool community in the description below. I love being part of your community. I think it's really great, and explaining how you're teaching those systems, I think is really great for other entrepreneurs to know as well.
Hmm.
So
I'm happy to have you also, Gail. I love you as a member.
thank you. So tell me a little bit more about your life as far as, do you time block? What kind of time management systems
Hmm.
do you have set up?
Okay, I always wanted to be a good time blocker, and I always wanted to have a good system set up for time. And but I think this, this whole journey that I discovering my say, protecting my energy also brought me to realize that I don't have to fit in somebody else's box, and time blocking just never worked for me. um, I've tried it a few times, and even just scheduling. So
Yeah,
instead, what I do, I just make it very simple, and I usually write a list of three most important things to do during the day. And then the list includes usually more than that, like 10, up to 10 things.
right.
And then I just work through the list according to importance. And I
Yeah,
do that every day. And
yeah,
like I said, I have those modes of, okay, now I can do this when I'm doing, answering people in my community and doing all that. Usually I'm in the entertainment mode where I'm like listening or watching TV at the same time. So then
right.
it becomes enjoyable. But yeah, I don't have very much structure. If I do have routine, but
Okay,
I'm not like the morning chores, the
right,
evening chores,
right,
dinner, breakfast, but I don't have like hard lines on anything. Like it can
right,
be moved around a bit.
right.
And
Yeah.
that works for me.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
work for
And,
everyone.
and that's why I'm doing these interviews, because that's each of us works differently. But
Hmm.
there may be something that you share that another entrepreneur shares that tweaks for somebody watching this today. They say, wow,
Hmm.
that's a great idea. I love the way that you've got these two modes set up. I love
Hmm.
the way that you're able to watch TV and do a little work at the same time.
Hmm.
Maybe somebody hadn't thought of that. And that's the reason I'm doing this. So I love it that you're
Yeah.
sharing that with us.
Yeah. I will also mention that the chores is another mode because, and this anyone can do with even without a farm, you can do this. But if you get outside
Yeah.
and just live life, all the
Yeah.
best ideas will come to you.
I
Usually when I'm doing my chores is when I think of, oh, I should do that. Like it all clicks. So I just highly encourage people to get outside, touch grass, touch trees, touch animals, and get some
I
inspiration.
so agree with you. I'm an early morning walker, so I
Hmm.
totally believe in that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Just it somehow changes the day.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your biggest challenges you face as an entrepreneur. What do you think some obstacles that maybe keep you from your business moving forward?
It's really funny. I am such in a growth mindset right now. I can't seem to think of those things. Like I know they're there. I'm just telling you, because this question came up in another community. I'm like, what, I guess it could be like just having, just refining the systems that I'm working on right now,
Yeah.
to get them flowing easier. I am very hands-on right now in my community, and I don't know if I've ever want to be like, I don't want to create a community that is running off of somebody else's response, but if I stop at this point, if I were to stop posting, it would, be affected, but that like that doesn't have to be scalable. Like everything doesn't have to be scalable. It can be that this is just part of it. I consider my community my home of my business. So
Mm-hmm.
I want people to know what the culture is like there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that I didn't answer your question. I don't really know the answer to that question because like I said, I'm in a growth mindset, and it's almost like I'm not allowing myself to focus on anything else but growth.
You know, and I love it because, that's what happens with us as entrepreneurs. We get on a tangent or we set a specific goal.
Mhm.
And I'm going to move into that question in a minute, but I think that's the reason we're entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
That's what sets entrepreneurs apart from others is that
Mhm.
we love that part of being an entrepreneur, that we set a goal, we focus in, and like you said, you're in this growth mindset. And that's what separates us from going out and getting a real job or
Yeah.
working for somebody else, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we visualize. We have
Yeah.
a very clear vision, I
Yeah.
think, is what makes us different because someone else, if you tell them what you're doing, they can't visualize
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
end result that you see in your mind. They can only see that you're not making what money or whatever it is when you're just getting started. That's all they can see.
Yeah.
And because each one of us have different businesses, it's usually we are the only ones or few people know what we're doing. You know, yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit about your goal setting process because I love to ask that question for entrepreneurs because everybody has a different take on it. What does that look like for you? Do you break them down into actionable steps, or how does that work for you?
A lot of it just sits in my head and I just know what needs to happen next. But I am, this whole thing about the systems, that
Yeah.
is how I break it up. Because there are certain things that will move the needle forward, and I know what those things are. So I create systems around the things that will move the needle forward. And for me, my focus is on community building, like having that the home of your business is really important for solopreneurs because we don't have huge teams. So we need to make the most of our efforts and you make the most of of your efforts by having a community that's supportive and that drives your business for you. I'll give you an example. I'm at the point 6 months into having this community. I'm now at the point where I'm getting more than or about half of the people are referring my community for me.
Yeah.
So my efforts to go out and market my community and get people to join, I don't have to do that as much anymore. I still have to do it,
Mm.
but I've let that, so that's I know you said goal setting. I kind of went off on the thing. But anyway.
No, I mean, we'll just keep going because you're going to a great place.
Yeah. So goal setting, I guess I should get back to goal setting. I do a little bit of structured goal setting like at the beginning of each quarter. But that's another one that will stop me that I'm I've because in the past I've made money goals and things like to certain goals, and then I get to the point where I don't meet that goal and I would get disappointed. So I rarely make the money goal anymore, at least not monthly. I'll
Mhm.
make it quarterly, the money
Mhm.
goal.
Mhm.
But I will make other goals like growth because I know what moves the needle. That's where I'll go back to.
Yeah.
What moves the needle is growing my community and getting it engaged. That moves the needle.
Yeah.
So my goal is to grow my community and get it engaged. So
Okay.
like those are the goals I focus on.
Right. Right. And as you said, you what you've really set up now is a referral system.
Hmm.
Yes. And
Yeah.
because people are coming into that community, into your Skool community every day, right?
Hmm.
And is
Yeah,
that
just about.
through referrals, or are you doing a lot of marketing as well?
Right now, this is part of the traffic system. So I mentioned community, traffic, and income. Those are the three systems I work on
Right.
repeat.
Hmm.
Um, so traffic is so I what I do is I usually vision like what it is I want. I look at what it is I want, and then I figure out how to do it in the best way possible. So if I want traffic, I use the best platforms, which is usually YouTube. I will be redoing my YouTube channel to fit to not focus on YouTube growth anymore. But anyway, so I pick platforms that are evergreen platforms like YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't focus on anything else. Like as far as traffic, I'm not really focused on too many other. Like I don't do social media anymore. It breaks up my attention. I can't make the best of any platform if I'm on all the platforms. That's just the way I
Yeah.
am. That's just the way I believe. So yeah, so traffic, and then I network a lot. Networking. This was one of my goals actually for this year is to be on podcasts and summits and things
Right.
because your audience will help
Right.
me grow, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And my audience will help you grow because I'll be sharing this
Yeah.
as well. So networking is another one that I do. So that's at this point that's pretty much all that's it. And I make sure that I try to get things that will can grow over time or be seen, be reached over time, like your podcast. Podcasts
Right.
are really great. Like I said, I have a podcast. It's over 250,000 downloads on that podcast, and it's still growing without me touching it because I got really strategic about keywords, and people are just finding it without me. But yeah, those are the types of things I do to make the most of my growth.
And what's the name of that podcast?
It's called Homesteading for Beginners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And
Yeah.
it's just sitting out there.
It's just sitting out there.
Oh
And I
my.
get I get leads every single day from that podcast still.
So I'm fascinated with this. You had your podcast, but now you've let it go. Well, you haven't really let it go. It's just sitting out there.
Yeah.
Basically.
I paused it indefinitely. I did a last episode and I told them that I may or may not come back. If I do, it will be a passion project.
And so how long did you do that podcast for?
3 years. Yeah, I
3 years.
had.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so the fascinating thing is that people are still referrals are still coming from that podcast, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
is that something you'd recommend to entrepreneurs?
To start a podcast?
Yeah.
Only if you're going to have the long game in mind.
Right.
That's something I've found also that I try to teach in my community that we have to have the long game in mind because most things won't grow as fast as you think. Just because it's online doesn't mean it doesn't need to go through the same process as most things do, which is time, like 4 seasons, like, like to see the best results, you have to see it go out. You have to see it for a while and people have to pick it up, and find it but podcasting is interesting. I had a very good niche, and the reason people are finding my podcast is because of the keywords and the self-identifying title,
Yes.
because they're homesteading for beginners. A beginner homesteader is going to know that it's
Right.
for them.
Right.
So, yeah, so it depends, I guess, on the niche, on whether I think they're great. And I think what happens usually on a podcast, on an audio podcast anyway, is that people get really familiar with you. They feel like they know you because they've been
Right.
listening to you while they're doing other things.
Right.
Because it's like you're entering into their world because they're
Mhm.
taking with them when they're doing their dishes or driving their car. It's just a different thing. So I think you can get really, really warm leads from podcasts
Mhm.
if you're consistent and do it over a period of time.
Yeah. And there you said it again. It's about that consistency, right?
Hmm.
That's part of a repeatable system.
Yeah.
And and I love it that that's what you're teaching in your school community as
Hmm.
well. Now you said you do a lot of networking. Are you talking, and I know you're talking about networking with people online. Do you do any offline networking as well?
Not not currently, no. I haven't. I haven't. There is somebody. Angie. She lived. Angie. I can't remember her last name. She was on your podcast, right? Angie. She lives in a.
Oh, yes, Angie.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
she lives.
yeah,
We live close to each other, kind of a couple hours away. So
yeah,
we
yeah.
talked about getting together. So hopefully we will. But I don't do. I did have a couple of clients when I first started out with the YouTube strategy that were in person, but
Yeah.
mostly just online.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And but that is, it is networking is part of your strategy
Mm-hmm.
in your business, networking online and reaching
Mm-hmm.
out. You're networking basically with the people in your school group, or is there other ways that you're networking strategically?
Yeah, so I'm branching out this year. This is my branch out year. It'd be like things like this, like podcasts. And I was recently on in a summit as a speaker.
Mhm.
That was a couple weeks ago. So things more like that, and going into other school communities because school is such a it, it's such a wonderful ecosystem. Like there's just so many people on the platform, and you're able to go into other communities and become friends. And I feel like I'm really, uh, making friends on Skool, which is really nice. So I do those sorts of things. I've taught inside of other communities, and doing a live session. So those are the types of things that I would do for networking.
Right, right. And I think that's really great advice for entrepreneurs who are watching this today because we do, stay at home a lot. That we love, most of us are introverts, we
Mhm.
like quiet time and being alone,
Hmm.
but we have to reach out. It's so important as part and parcel of being an entrepreneur, right?
Hmm. Yes. And that energy thing, it's like that's kind of the way I've structured my business as well, is that my paid offers are when people get the one-on-one time with me. Because for me, I mean, I do occasionally do live things inside of my community, but I don't give that away so freely because
Right.
that's the thing that drains me. For other people, it can be totally different, and that actually fuels them to
Yeah.
have one-on-ones. So that's like you're building your own business. If
Yeah.
you don't have to fit into someone else's box. You can build it the way you want. So I'll tell my introvert friends, or clients that you don't have to do those things like
Yeah.
everyone else is doing. You can structure it different. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people will do an onboarding call for new members, and I was like, that sounds so draining.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially if you have a lot of members
I
coming
would
in.
say you've got a lot of members coming on every day. Yes, that would be
Yeah.
extremely and time, lots of time.
Yeah, and time. So it's like I give away, this is also another thing I like to share with people because it's another thing that I kind of go against a lot of what some people share. But anyway, it's giving away too much, and because people won't pay for your paid things.
Yeah.
I couldn't work with that. I couldn't make that make sense to me because I love to give. If somebody asks me a question, I want to answer it. I don't want to say, "Oh, well, that's behind the paywall," you know? So so
I get it.
instead
Yeah.
instead I've separated it to I will I will DM you or answer your questions inside the community in text form as much as I'm able to. I will answer all the questions in depth. I will sometimes even send voice memos and sometimes do little videos for my free members if I can't answer it in text.
Yeah.
But if you want my one-to-one attention, that's behind the
You
paywall.
have to pay.
Like yeah, if you want video to video,
Yeah.
that's where I have to draw the line and make it a paid thing, and that works. It works for me both, like because I know I can give them more with a one-to-one face-to-face.
Right.
So I know I'm helping them more and more with their transformations,
Right.
but I'm also able to give away everything I know basically in
Yeah.
text form,
Yeah.
in written form.
Yeah. Just such wise advice. Thank you for
Hmm.
sharing that. I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to hear that.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
it is part and parcel of what we do and how we interact with people. And I think
Hmm.
understanding that is so important.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let's change this up a little. Tech tools. Do you have specific tech tools that you use? I love to ask the question because
Mhm.
there's so many out there.
Yeah.
Some people might, what you use might, attract them to use it.
Yeah. I don't use a whole lot. I use Canva a lot. That's one
Uh-huh.
thing that I I'll probably be a lifetime member unless something else comes, you know. I use Skool for a lot of the things I need now. I don't have Zoom. I don't use Zoom because Skool has a native live streaming thing, and I do one-on-one calls there as well.
Oh,
So I do everything video wise on Skool. I use ChatGPT. It's my assistant.
mm,
I
right.
ask it to help fix things and fix grammar and help me through thinking about things. And occasionally come up with the tortoise. The Mr. Mullet Tortoise is our mascot in the community.
All right. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
ChatGPT came up with that, Mr.
Yeah.
Mullet Tortoise.
Yeah.
Um, and I also use Notebook LM because that's the one that I use when I have a meeting with a client. I will take that video transcript and put it into Notebook and ask it to make meeting notes for me. So I put the video and the meeting notes so that you can skim it, and then all of the activities we talked about inside of the meeting can
Right.
be written in written form.
Right.
I do use editing software for my videos when I do YouTube.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. I think that's about it.
No, it's all, I always love to ask the question because,
hmm
well, there's just one thing that might really tweak somebody who's watching this saying, well, I need to try that one.
hmm
Thanks for answering that question.
Yeah.
And what about you continuing your education, right? We like to call it professional development.
hmm
How do you continue to grow as an entrepreneur? And do you have any other podcast or book suggestions for other entrepreneurs?
I would love to say I'm a book reader. I don't read books very often. There's some books like, well, the most recent one was the Alex Hermosi's.
Oh, yeah,
I've read that one.
yeah.
Um,
Which
but
one is that? Which one is
it's
that?
the 100 million money models,
Oh,
the money
okay.
models one.
Hmm.
That one.
God, okay.
Um, I like books like The Habits of Highly Effective People. I like books like this.
Yes.
I need to start reading that. But like I said, what I normally do is watch YouTube videos at this point. I used to listen to podcasts a lot, but now I might watch a podcast on YouTube, but mostly it's YouTube now.
Yeah.
There's just some creators on, I like some creators that are school owners, like Calvin Hollywood. I really like him.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then there's just, Alex Hermosi. Sometimes I watch his stuff.
Right.
But I don't really have any favorites right now.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But
Yeah.
it's part and parcel of you growing professionally, you.
hmm
And that's important as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked that question, so others can learn from others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually I pick a problem that I'm dealing with, I need to solve a problem, and I
Yeah.
just try to find the answer if I can, through a video, like a YouTube video or a podcast. So
Yeah.
I usually, when I'm looking for something, it's because I need to learn more about that specific thing, and I know which thing is next. So I try to be very intentional about what I'm watching, you know.
Yeah. I like that. I do that as well. I think that
hmm
it's we're very fortunate to have that in our world right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about self-care and work-life balance and
Mm.
how you make time for that for you.
Yeah. Self-care. Well, protecting my energy, that's my biggest self-care. And creating a business that I want to show up for is my self-care. It is sometimes hard to have like stops. When my kids were young, it was a lot easier because I had to stop and take care of them. Now it's harder. It's just my husband and I, my youngest daughter still lives with us. She's 21. And but it's like everybody's doing their own thing, so it's not the same anymore. So it's like, well, I make dinner. So there's like some hard stops that I do. But I guess right now it's the hardest part is stopping when so the list that I do, it really helps with that when I have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So self-care, I like to hang out in my garden when it's not freezing outside, and I like outdoors and with my animals. Those are things that are self-care to me because
Yeah, you're very fortunate. That's a
yeah.
wonderful way to
Hmm.
take care of yourself and be with nature and be with animals. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
And my family, of course. I love being around my family. I
yeah.
have 6 grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
exciting. Yeah.
yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're blessed with those for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, if there would be one piece of advice or a key lesson that you'd like to share with fellow entrepreneurs who work from home, what would it be?
I guess it's kind of the theme that I was saying. Create the business you want. It's your business. You don't have to fit into somebody else's box. Just make sure that you're moving the needle every day. Like,
Yeah.
don't get caught up on perfection. Move the needle every day. Do that over a long period of time, and success comes. It's like a math equation, like 1 + 1 is 2. If you just keep doing the same thing, and I will say, be flexible. Don't be
Yeah.
rigid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put your ear close to the ground and make sure that you're paying attention to what's around you, but create the business you want. And that's what I'm most proud of myself with this Skool community that I have now.
Yeah.
Is that that's what I'm doing. I didn't go and try these tactics that was fast growth, and I didn't put the energy into my energy into the wrong places because everybody else said that was where you're supposed to put it. It's because
Right.
growing a community to 1,000 people that with no engagement means nothing. Growing
Exactly.
a community to 100 people with a lot of engagement means everything. It's the biggest
Yes.
lie that we kind of chase the
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. It's not about the numbers, it's about the
Hmm.
quality, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Such great advice. Okay. So now share with our viewers just more about where they can get in touch with you. We will put all of that information in the description below. But tell us a little bit more about your group and where people can, and any resources that you're offering as well.
Okay. I do have some free resources inside of my community. I guess that would be the best thing. Come to my home. Come to the Next Level Creator Hub, and you can, learn how I make sure that I'm moving the needle for you at the very beginning of joining the community, because I ask a specific question in the auto. I have an auto DM that goes out, but I answer every single one of those. The question is, what's one thing you want to see grow? Wait, what's the question? I always get the question is, what's one goal you have for the next 90 days?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the question. And I get about a 90 to 95% answer. People answer me that question, but that's where I can say, hey, this is what we can do next. This is where to get that goal, this is what you need to do next. So Next Level Creator Hub is where you'll get that. I do have a YouTube channel, but like I said, it's going through a transition. It's going through a pivot.
Right.
But it's you'll have the link to that, so it will be the
Yeah.
same
Yes.
one.
Great. Well, we'll be putting all of that in the description below. And I know your community as being part of it. It's such a robust community where people are commenting and you're learning
Hmm.
from each other, and people
Hmm.
love to help you if you got an answer. Not only you are there to help them, but also others are, well, everybody's kind of on the same level, which I really
Yeah.
enjoy as well.
Yeah. I called it Next Level on purpose because I wanted people to think about like the next level of your business. You can be at the beginning of your business, but you want to think higher Like you don't want to be like you want to have this like this growth mindset. You want to have this like, this is the next level of my business. And so that's why I named it that.
So appropriate, and it really does work. So, Mona, thank you so much for being on the show today. I know that everybody who is watching are going to learn a lot from the wisdom that you've shared.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that I was able to do this with you.
Okay, before you go, let's talk about 3 gems of wisdom from Mona's interview. First, I loved how she shared some of her best ideas come when she's outside early in the morning doing her chores, touching the grass, touching the trees, and caring for animals. There's something very powerful about being grounded in nature, right? And it's just a reminder for all of us to pay attention to where inspiration really comes from. And secondly, her advice is, in fact, these exact words: create the business you actually want. I thought this was so powerful. Mona says, this is your business. You don't have to fit into someone else's box. And she reminds us that moving the needle every day is really what leads to success. And what I love most about it was she says it's like a math equation. Keep showing up, stay flexible, listen closely to what's happening around you, and adjust as you go. Honestly, I recommend going back and re-listening to that part because it was so important for entrepreneurs to realize that this is what it takes. So I have a question for you today. What's one repeatable system you could implement right now to make your growth more sustainable? Let me know in the comments below. And finally, community is everything to Mona. That's why her Skool community, the Next Level Creator Hub, is so impactful. She intentionally named it Next Level because she wants entrepreneurs to think bigger, raise their standards, and really step into the next level of their business with a growth mindset. So be sure to check out her community in all the links below, and I'll see you on the next video.